This is the Kia Telluride's twin brother. Obviously, they're not identical twins, but under the skin, their DNA is 100% the same. This is the 2020 Hyundai Palisade in its most expensive trim, the Ultimate, and it costs 54,000 Canadian dollars, which is exactly the same as the equivalent Kia Telluride. Prices start at $39,000 for a front-wheel drive base model, which you should avoid like farting in an elevator. You're looking at 45 to 50 grand for a decent trim, but if you can, get this one with all the bells and whistles. The Palisade looks much better than the Telluride, at least in my eyes. I like the more futuristic, sharp lines rather than the boxy, caddy impersonating Kia. On the road, this Palisade really gets noticed, at least now that it's new. So road presence, I have to say, pretty good. Equipment-wise, you get a lot of stuff like 20-inch wheels, auto-leveling rear suspension, blind spot video feed, an inside mirror to check on your little ones, heated and ventilated front and rear seats, a wireless charging pad, pretty clever cup holders, a really nice 10.25-inch color touchscreen with a 1920 by 720 resolution, and I really like how it seems to be a floating screen on this side, but then it integrates into the dashboard, and then the floating thing kind of ends on this side. That looks pretty cool. It also has a very nice heads-up display, and there's plenty of information displayed on the instrument cluster. The lane keep assist and driving aids are class-leading, so if you'd like the car to do some driving for you, well, hold on to the steering quite lightly and let it do its thing. You also get USB ports all over the place. You get a power stowing third row, which is really convenient. You get a very nice suede headliner, double sunroofs, and unlike the Telluride, you also get paddle shifters because you have no shifter over there. But it's really cool because this opens up so much more space. This looks much cleaner and I like it more. The luxury model and the Ultimate can be configured to have 7 or 8 seat capacity. Obviously, it's much nicer when you get the captain chairs. The front has a really good looking big grille and nice sharp looking headlights, but the real headlights are underneath, just like in the Kona. Inside, it is much prettier than the Telluride, especially this trim with a brownish top, silver middle trim, and then beige lower trim looks really posh, not to mention this nice little quilted leather. The design works perfectly for me ergonomically, it's really easy to understand, and I love the fact that piano black is only up there where you cannot reach it, so no fingerprints. Material-wise, everything is way above average, fit and finish is really good, and squeaks and rattles, not here. The infotainment is also really good. It supports both Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but it has some really cool features, like, for example, let's say you have a child in the far back that, is preoccupied and won't listen to you. You have intercom, so you have something called driver talk. You enable that, and then listen what happens. 1, 2, hey, put your freaking seatbelt on before I come back there and I give you a... Another really cool feature that shows that Hyundai values your babies, and especially when they're asleep, you have what's called quiet mode. You enable quiet mode, and then it allows a level up to 7 out of whatever it goes to. And that means that the music or whatever you're listening to comes only from the front speakers, and in the rear, there's nothing. So no interruptions for your little ones. It comes with 7 driving modes, including Comfort, Eco, Sport, Smart, or the Terrain, Snow, Mud, and Sand. I left it in Eco most of the time, and as such, it returned a very decent 12.7 liters per 100 kilometers on average, and that's regular, so cheap to run. Needless to say, roominess is a very big advantage in this car. Up front here, I have all the room in the world. The seats are extremely comfortable, and the heated and ventilated features work really well. I wish they worked together, but they don't. And in the second row, with the captain chairs, there's also a lot of room. The third row isn't ideal for full-grown adults. However, I personally fit just fine. I wouldn't be really comfortable to go very far, but you know what? They're not emergency. They're fully usable rear seats. So it's pretty good to have. The trunk is also pretty massive, especially when you fold the rear seats. That's the third row. Then you're left with a trunk that's big enough to serve as a basketball court. Under the hood, Hyundai decided to not go with a small displacement turbo. Instead, they put a 3.8-liter V6 that makes 291 horsepower and 262 pound-feet of torque. It's made it to a really smooth, not super fast, but really smooth 8-speed automatic that shifts very precisely at every throttle input. It does a great management for the gear shifting, and the result is that this heavy thing actually feels pretty nice to drive. It's pretty nimble. In terms of performance, it's not going to set the road on fire, but you know what? It actually goes, especially from low speed to like 100. Yeah, it'll do it in a respectable amount of time. We can't test it today because it's snowing outside, so it's pretty slippery, but yeah, I'm estimating something similar to the Telluride. If you haven't watched our Telluride review, click the top right-hand corner of your screen to watch it right now. In terms of handling, the Palisade isn't sporty at all, but you know what? Everything feels very good and very smooth, very nicely refined. The steering has proper weight to it. It's not heavy, but it's not super light, so it feels nice. The brake pedal is very linear, feels really good. The brakes stop this honking thing pretty nicely and easily, and there's no brake fade, at least under normal situations. The stability control manages the dynamics pretty well, especially in snowy, slippery conditions. And despite not having dynamic dampers, this thing rides pretty softly. It's comfortable over bumps. Very sharp ridges will send the shock up through the cabin, but overall, I have to say it's very comfortable. I have no complaints there. Dynamically, the car doesn't float around too much. It does lean, but that's normal, especially in this category. The four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive system is front-wheel bias, and you can see it through the display on the instrument cluster, so no doubts about that. But it does help you get going in the snow and stuff like that. Ground clearance is just above 200 millimeters. You can tow 5,000 pounds. And if you're interested to know if it will fit in your garage, well, it's just under 5 meters long. Overall, I have to say that despite being packed with technology, it is missing a few very convenient features that are found in like much more expensive cars. For example, massaging seats or the comfort access. So the rear handles you can't grab them to unlock the car, which is very annoying sometimes. But overall, I have to say, great job. And the after everything all in, taxes, whatever, $65,000 Canadian. For the size, the equipment, and the performance, I think right now this is probably one of the best buys. Personally, I would buy the Palisade over the Telluride just because, you know, it has paddle shifters, which I like, and I think it looks better than the Telluride, but, you know, that's up to you to decide. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, share it with your friends, tell us what you want us to do next. Until next time, be good. Overall score, 8.8 out of 10.
Perfect.